Hey guys, for those of you who are first time here, welcome, and those of you who are returning, welcome back. Today I'm going to do a box opening of the tri-pack of the Men in Iron Battles, and these are the first three Men in Iron series, and it's by Richard Berg, the game series designer here, and it's Men of Iron, Infidel, Blood and Roses. Now I'm a really big fan of these tri-packs because, number one, I think the best value for your money. You get 3 games, which generally each game has other battles in it, which this one has a ton of battles. And they come in this comes in a 3-inch box here, 3-inch wide box. And like I said, these are repeats of games, but these are repeats of popular games. I also own the tri-pack Battles of the American Revolution, which is really another great value. So I think the tri-packs are just a wonderful way to go. So on the back here, it talks about the different battles included in the Men of Iron. You can see that there are just a ton of battles here. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 battles here that you can spend a lot of time, just going through. The Men of Iron series covers the reenactment of the infantry in the early 14th century. Infidels focus on the major battles of the early Crusade era between Christians and the Muslims. Blood and Roses focuses on the battles of the War of Roses. Agincourt covers Henry V's famous victory during the 100-Year War. So these all cover crucial parts of history. You get to reenact them and maybe change their outcome, which, is always interesting. Down here we have some of the game counters. You're going to see in a minute, these game counters are really nice looking. Here's the Agincourt map, and that's one of the smaller maps, but you're going to see that the maps are just all fantastic. You have 5 22 by 34 double-sided maps in here, and 1 11 by 17. 7 1/2 counter sheets, 1 28-page series rulebook, 3 battle books, which are the 3 different games, but they all pretty much work out of the series book. So once you learn the rules for the series, you can pretty much play most of these battles with just some additions. The map is 50 to 250 yards per hex. Each game is different, so the map size, the hex size is going to be a little different. 2-player. But I will play a lot of them solitaire, which is always fun, but 2-player, even better. Units, 150 to 600 men per unit. Each game is different again. And time, there's no hard set game turn because these games go by whoever gets the initiative so they can keep fighting. And so it just goes back and forth until you have a victor. Complexity is 4, which is the lowest end of the medium scale here from GMT. And solitaire suitability is 7, which is the lowest end of the high scale here. So let's go ahead and take a look inside here and see how much corner clipping I'm going to have to do on this game. Now these are the GMT heavy duty boxes. As you can see how slowly it opens, it creates a good amount of suction inside. Nice solid box. Excellent production value there. And the first thing we see, let me get this back in camera here for you. The first thing we have is our rule manual of Men of Iron's tri-pack. So we have all of our rules here. And you can see that the rules, special rules, rallying units, 22 pages. So 23 pages of rules here. And then we got an index and then changes, talks about changes from the original editions, an extended sequence of play at the very end here. So let me move this out of the way and we'll take a look at our rule book here. And I'm not going to go through all the rules because you can get this if you want and check it out, which you should get, and hopefully it's still available by the time you see this video. I think this one of the reasons I was happy to get it is that the place that sells it, they had one left and I purchased it, and I went on a GMT site. I found that it wasn't available. Like they are either low in stock, but you weren't able to buy it from the GMT site. So I'm not sure if it's available still or not. But if it's not, I'm sure there's going to be another production run because these are very, very popular games and still relevant today. But we show some of our counters or unit counters here, and there's a lot of significance in the color bands here and the color of the units. So they go with some particular games and sample combat unit and back of the unit. So all of them have a dispersed background, or disorder they call it actually, and some special units here, and as it goes through sequence of play, so on and so forth. So I'm just going to go through not a lot of diagrams here, more verbiage than anything. But of course, you know, this is back in the medieval days, so we didn't have a lot of diagrams unless they looked like that or like this. So special rules, and then when we get into the engagement options here on how to engage, I would imagine covers facing and changes from the original game, and extended sequence of play. So that's basically the order that you're going to be playing everything in, so you can easily follow this on the back of the book. So the next thing is our 3 individual game books here. And we again get this where you can see it. So here are our 3 books, our 3 individual game books, and you can see that it covers a lot of the battles here. And I'm sure that the battles also may have some rules involved with them, but a lot of it is just setting up the battles and showing you where everything goes. So again, this is this is pretty awesome. A lot of playability with this. Just a ton of playability on these games. And here are the Men of Iron series. Rebirth of the Infantry. And again, setups, units that are in there. And you can see the color banding here on the setup. And again, this is not a really complicated games. I mean, as compared to, you know, some of them that you can find today, but still, it's challenging and offers a great variety. So anyway, that's all of our books here for the Men of Iron series tri-pack. And you can see there's all 3 of them. Then we get into the fun part, which is our counter sheets, which is kind of weird, you know, grown men being happy about counter sheets, but, you know, cardboard squares, but we are. And 2-sided, 2-step units there. So disorder on the back with almost all the units here, and that's sort of this theme coming off this game. And counter sheets front and back, it just says. So again, the color coding and the color of the pieces will let you know what game they go to. And of course, the books will have a description of all of the pieces that you need for each game. That's pretty white there on those. Oh, almost popped that one out there. Push that back in. So I'm going to have a lot of counter clipping here. These look like 1/2-inch size counters, so they're not large. So there's a good amount of them here inside. I'm sure someplace online you could find the exact number of counters that are in these games. But anyway, that was our counter sheets, and let me just get that. The box has a ton of maps, and then here's our smaller map for Argencourt. So that's probably the one that most people recommend that you start with, because it's kind of a simple game here. And I'm not sure if I can get all of the map in the pictures, but let's see what I can do here. Well, you know, before I change everything on the camera, I think we'll look at the maps here in a second. Now, let's not forget we have a black and white 10-sided die here that comes in the box. So outside of a ton of maps, we also have a ton of player aid cards. Here are flight point tracks here for the different games. So Men of Iron, Infidel, Blood and Roses, and blank back there. So we just have them for all 3, and we use the same tracks. This keeps track of who takes off, who leaves, who dies, who you know, gets out of the game. Blood and Rose, Battle of the War of the Roses, and here's a trifold piece here. And this has terrain chart, different terrain charts for the different games in the center here. It has weapon system matrix here, like plus and minus for the different weapons that are used. On the back here we have a fire table result, fire range, die roll modifiers there. And on the very back we have counter charge versus charge, charge combat results, possible dice roll modifiers for shock or charge. So a lot of useful information just on this one trifold. And then for Infidel, we have 2 cards for Infidel. And these are not trifold. So you have the terrain chart for the different games in there, or different battles, I should say. Weapon systems matrix. And on the back we have the counter charge versus charge. We have possible dice roll modifiers, charge combat results, shock combat results. So all of our this page will probably be most used as we get into the battles. And again, the same one, Infidel. And then we have Men of Iron, also has 2 player aids here, Volume 1, Volume 1. So again, terrain charts in the center, weapon system matrix here, and then our combat result possibilities on the back, and die roll modifiers, and charge versus counter charge versus charge. So these 2 are for Men of Iron. And we have one for, sorry, I should have stopped here. One for Blood and Roses, Battle in the War of the Roses, England, 1455 to 1487. Again, weapons matrix there. On the back, I would assume, yes, it's probably the page that we'll be using the most, where we have shock combat results, charge combat results, counter charge, leader casualty, and shock charge right there. And then on the inside, as we open it up, we have at the very inside, we have terrain charts here. So you probably won't, once you learn the terrain, you probably won't be opening this up all that much. And then we have fire result table, fire range die roll modifier chart here, seizure counter explanations, and pursue effects, battle flight, and pursue returns. So that's our Men of Iron, Volume 3 there, Blood and Roses. Okay, now we're going to look at these. So the first map here, and I apologize because I know I'm going to mispronounce stuff here, but let's see if we can get a wide angle shot for you on all of this here. All right, so that's about the best I can do. But we can see that this is pretty wide open, which generally, they fought in wide open fields most of the time. So this one is the 7th of September, 1193, the Battle of Arsurf. I'm sure I'm pronouncing that totally wrong. Have the map key up there. The Mediterranean Sea is down there. On the back side, we have 2 different maps for 2 different battles. Hard to read upside down. Blood Health and Barnet down here, the Battle of Barnet. So again, different size maps for different size battles. So you have medium-sized battles there, and a much larger encounter on the backside here. So that's our first map. So it looks like we have battle map for each one, and we counted up 20 of them. So again, a smaller size encounter over on this side. The map here, and this is July 1302. And I like the dates. So these are actual battles that happen where you control the men that fight in it and see if you can do better than who was actually there. Of course, the nice thing about our games is that nobody gets hurt, except for cardboard pieces go in the tray early. So that side. And we got 2 medium-sized ones here. So most of these are, the battles take up half the page. Only one so far has been the entire page. And I don't know if there's larger than that, because this is my box opening, so it's the first time I've looked at any of this stuff. Here's a full-size battle here. The 1st of July, 1097. Quite some time ago. I guess back then they had no planning. So a wide open ground there. 2 medium size. Ton of maps. Great artwork in them. I mean, the maps, you know, granted they have a lot of open space to them, but the artwork that is on there is well done. The colors, everything. So it just looks like a fun thing to be playing on. I'm really looking forward to busting these out and playing them. Another half map. Looks like it might have some like farmland. Let's see, what would that be? Hedgerow bushes, or what all that is right along there. And then another one with some marsh areas there. Bogs. These are bogs. This is marsh. And what's on the back side? So all of these maps are 2-sided maps. So this one's almost a full map. It has a pretty wide open area there. But yeah, I like this map. That's your map key right there. 2 different ones: blue, green, and brown. So I would imagine that's an arid part of the world where this battle was fought. And now I'm going to have to research these battles, because I know nothing about any of these battles, which is what I like about this hobby, is that you get in and you start playing these battles and you find an interest and you start looking up and researching different battles and find out what all happened. So this is part of history that I know very little about. We like this one here. This one's 1455 and 1461, but we have St. Peter's Church right over here. So we have a battle that actually happens in town, it looks like. That's going to be interesting. And on the back here, arid land again. And here, Mediterranean Sea over here. Escalon. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that right. I'm sure you will correct me if I'm not. Looks like we got yurts here. A lot of yurts here in this town here. Let's see. Trying to see. So this is camp. Fetterman camps are all right in here. Yeah. Let's see. I think we looked at this side already, so I'm getting confused. Yes, we did. So that was a lot of maps. All right, so all of our maps are put away. Putting in our counters, which are soon to be clipped right there. These are going to take a lot of trays for this particular one. Our 3 battle books and our overall rules, which fill out this box quite nicely. Now there is a filler at the bottom of the box, which is going to give you plenty enough room for counter trays, which you're definitely going to need when you get this game. So the tri-pack Men of Iron battles. This is my box opening. Sorry I couldn't give you more in-depth on these battles. I know very little about this time of battles, except I have heard, you know, of the War of Roses and all of that, but the Crusades. But I never really studied any of the battles, so I'm looking forward to playing them and learning more about that as I move along with these games. So I appreciate you watching for the box opening. Please do like and subscribe. Any comments, please leave below. If I got anything wrong, don't be afraid to correct me. I like it to be corrected so that everybody has it right, and they'll all see the correction at the bottom in the comments. Thanks for watching. Take care.